This video is about cases and case administration in the HTML5 interface. We're going to go over three subtopics: a user and group assignment, case organization, and case creation. So let's quickly go into the tool and do that. So I actually have already opened it up into the admin widget, and I have already navigated to the cases tab. If you pull up your admin widget, you will initially be on the roles tab. You have to navigate to the cases, but just click on it, easy peasy. You can see in the case tab, you have the list of cases. You have the ID of the case, the size of the case, the users that have access to that case, and the groups that have access to that case. Now, you'll recall it is users and groups that get assigned to cases, not roles. Roles get assigned to users and users get assigned to groups. So a little bit complex there, but you can gain access to a case either through your user or through your group. So if you're an admin and you want to add a bunch of people to a case, you can either do that by directly adding them or by creating a group and adding them to the group and then adding that group to the case. So just as by way of example, we're going to quickly do that here. And we're going to click on this, and we get our pop-ups again in user and group, and we'll just assign a group, the user 103 group here, and we'll go ahead and again, as we're familiar, it takes a little bit for the system to update the database, but there we've updated and we've added our 103 user. Now, one thing you might immediately notice is that there is a folder here, and that the HTML5 interface, unlike FTK that you're familiar with or Summation, supports the idea of foldering. And you can create folders and you can move cases around, and so you can organize your cases in a way you previously couldn't. So let's go ahead and do an organization exercise here, if you will. We're going to move this eDisco test into the rename folder, and we're going to simply do that by dragging on it, bringing it over, and letting it go. And then again, the database has to refresh to set it. If you don't see that refresh, it hasn't actually changed. But there it is. We've moved it into the eDisco into the rename folder, excuse me. Now, what's important to understand about this is how this translates into case names in FTK. So what did we just do? By moving this folder in here, this case into this folder, actually what we did was effectively change the true name of this case. This case now has a DOS-like name that starts out root/rename/ eDisco test. And so if we go into FTK, this has the old case names. I would need to refresh it to get the change we just made. But I'm going to show you the other cases here. You can see that things, a new folder, let's go into our new folder directory and open that up. And then I will show you how that maps into FTK. You see we've got a new folder there, and we've got a new folder there. And then we've got a new folder 33, and there's a new folder 33. And because it ends in a slash, that means it's a folder. New folder / new case is a case, and you can see that is right down here in the new folder. And anyway, you sort of get the idea. That's the basic structure of this. You don't have to remember any of that. You just have to move stuff around in the HTML interface, and all of that will get automatically done for you. If I were going to log out and then log back in, actually, let's go ahead and do that. Just so you see, you're going to see that the eDisco test case now has its new name is root/rename/ eDisco test. So let's log in, administrator, ABC 3. Okay, so it just booted up, and we are looking for root, rename, So we've got root, rename, and then edisco test, and there they are. And so that's how it works. That's how we get the foldering over here in the web client. But again, you don't need to know any of that. You can just move stuff around as you see fit. You can also right-click. Now you saw if I right-click below, I get this menu. But if I right-click anywhere in the actual grid, I get this option. I can create a new case. I can create a new folder, delete, cancel. Now, I recommend not creating new cases because at least in the initial 6.2 release, you won't be able to set the processing options. So you'd have to go into FTK and set those processing options anyway. But being able to create a new folder allows you to just create folders and then move stuff around. And when you create a new folder, what happens is whatever name you give it will ultimately translate into a case in FTK with a slash. So if I created a name called new folder, it would just be new folder slash. So that's how it works. And hopefully that's clear, and play around. You're not going to hurt anything. If you accidentally drop a case in the wrong directory, you can always just simply pull it back out. Works just like Windows Explorer. So hopefully that's helpful.